Hey everybody, it's Matt the Dice Chugger coming to you with another board game review. Today we'll be taking a look at Tiny Epic Tactics. This is designed by Scott Alms from Gamelin Games, and it's meant for 1 to 4 players. Now, usually in a review I would kind of give you a basic idea of how the game plays, but there are plenty of videos out there already covering how this game plays, and they do it much better than I ever will. So go check them out. All you gotta do is just type into YouTube how to play Tiny Epic Tactics. So, a bit of background with this. When I grew up, I'm gonna show my age here. I had the Game Boy Advanced SP, the little flip Game Boy Advance with the light. The first game I was told by my friends to buy was Final Fantasy Tactics. I played that for about 30 to 40 hours, and then had a great time with it, and sold it. And I haven't had quite the experience with any other video game like it. But that doesn't mean that I can't find a way to have that same experience in a board game. So, in Tiny Epic Tactics, let's see if I can show you the back of the box here. It's got this 3D style board, and you're using pieces of the box. Including, the reason this game has a sleeve, by the way, is because the back of the box is one of the mats that you can play on. Now, I'm going to talk about this game 2-player and solo, since that's how games generally get played in our house. Now, in a 2-player game, this game scratched that itch that I remember as a teenager playing Final Fantasy Tactics. Same thing. You've got not only the square-based movement, you've got they get hit back. So when you attack somebody, not all the time, so sometimes they will be pushed back, which I remember happening with like super critical hits in Final Fantasy Tactics. The movement is a little slower going up, not so much coming down. With the objectives, there was a lot of that. So at 2 players, you have this really nice back and forth between each other. The way that you can only activate not certain units, but specific units that you want to activate during your turn. The way that the spawning happens, and the way you get your points with special victory conditions. All good stuff in here, and I really enjoyed it. Jen enjoyed it as well. She's not with us today, but she did find that it was probably one of the smoother Tiny Epic games she's played. Now, we've played this one. We've played Tiny Epic Galaxies Blast Off. We've played Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, Tiny Epic Pirates, and Tiny Epic Dungeons. Is that the one? Yeah, that's the most recent one that came out. I know Vikings is coming. Out of all of them, I think she agreed that this was the smoothest. The turns flowed quite well, and you never really questioned, okay, what do I do on this turn? I think the only other Tiny Epic game I would say that is as smooth as this is Galaxies, with Dinosaurs also being very close. Pirates has some complexity to it. Dungeons has a lot of symbology that offers a great deal of complexity to the game there. But we'll talk about Dungeons at some time in the near future. Now, as it goes, I do believe that we've got quite a few different types of characters in here. You've got your standard 4, and this one also comes with a micro expansion, the Tiny Epic Lanterns. Well, Tiny Epic Tactics Lanterns expansion, but you could call them the Tiny Epic Lanterns if you wanted to. Believe you have the 4 different classes. You have your standard Knight class, which has the symbol here at the top, and we were sent some of the promos. So we have Z from the Dice Tower in here. You also have your Ranger. So there's the Ranger class. You have the Wizards, and I can't remember if this is called Familiar or Beasts, but you have that as well. I really enjoyed the capture the flag aspect of this game. That you have these flags, and if you control them for 3 rounds, you'll get points based off of that. And it's also, I believe it's an endgame condition. I really thought what was cool was it had this mat. Now, it's not the sturdiest, it's not neoprene, but it still serves its function, and I like it a lot. I've seen a lot of people complain that, online, I have to iron this mat before I play it. No, you don't. You just smooth it out on a surface, and it'll be fine. But I think the purpose with these Tiny Epic games is that you can just pull it out anywhere, and you're not getting a light experience like you would usually get in a game box this size, but you are getting a decent game experience. And that's what I'm coming to really appreciate about the Tiny Epic systems that I've seen out there. Now, when it comes to solo play, I thought solo play was really neat. You're trying to go around collecting these crystals, and excuse me, it's a little groggy outside today. And you have to do them, you don't have to do them in a certain order, but there's one you have to pick up last. And that's the toughest one because you've only got so much time to do it. All right. So I found that to be really quite intriguing. So this really isn't so much of a review as it is my thoughts. I think Tiny Epic Tactics is definitely a keeper in our collection. It offers that variability. We have so many different types of classes coming up in this one. We have so many different types of things that can happen. And we've got the lanterns in here as well. I think it offers something really neat. Now, if I were to rate this game, I would say at 2-player, I think Tiny Epic Tactics gets around a 7.75. I like it, and it's staying in the collection. As far as the solo goes, I would give the solo an 8. It's a really great challenge. And I think it shows some creativity with design as how it works, and getting those crystals and making sure that you're trying to do everything in the right order, that you can eventually get everything to combo out with each other and be basically able to complete the game in that way. So, Tiny Epic Tactics, 7.75 for multiplayer, 8 for 2. This is a shorter video than usual because it's just my thoughts. And like I said, there's plenty of how to play videos out there covering Tiny Epic Tactics and many of the other Tiny Epic games. So I'm not going to show you how to play. I highly encourage you to just search for that on other YouTube channels. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Hey everybody, it's Matt the Dice Chucker coming to you with another board game review. Today we're taking a look at Tiny Epic Galaxies Blast Off. This is designed by Scott Alms and published by Gamelin Games, and it's meant for 2 to 4 players in this form. I know that there's a solo mode out there, but I do not have it with this edition. So, as a side note, I have not played original Tiny Epic Galaxies. I think I said in the previous video that I played Tiny Epic Galaxies. I meant I played this version of it. Yeah, I get a lot of nice shaking noises from this. So I'm coming at it from a brand new perspective. I have no idea what's going on. So we are not going to take a look at how to play. We are only going to talk about the game and what it does, because there are plenty of other channels out there that cover the Tiny Epic series and how to play them. So, what are my thoughts on this? Well, without having played Tiny Epic Galaxies, I thought this was enjoyable. This might be, for me, the simplest Tiny Epic game that I've played, and I think that was its purpose. The first time I had ever played a Tiny Epic game, I don't think I was expecting it to have so many layers, because whenever I see a box this size, I just assume it's like a nice micro game I can bring out to lunch with me or to any sort of destination. So when I had played Tiny Epic, I think it was Tiny Epic Kingdoms was the first one I had ever played. Not only was I lost more than half the time and not being able to understand the rules, I didn't quite understand why a game that small had to be so heavy. And then I looked into it further and found out that that's the purpose of these Tiny Epic games, to offer a great value for a low price and still get a great game out of it. So what do I feel about Galaxies? I like it. It's, like I said, it's the simplest, but I also enjoy the synergy of it, that you can either just land on the planets or continue to gain control of them, and they can eventually come into your tableau, and you're using certain dice to activate the abilities on the planet. I thought that was neat. Let's see, what else I think was really interesting. I love the ways to unlock the dice. The tracks are really easy to understand. I think, of course, the dice. I always love the dice components here are really nice. They've got a nice swirl to them and a texture that's really good. I am the Dice Chucker after all. Let's take a look at some of these things here. And that, not all, we'll put it in a different way. I like that it's not terribly easy to min-max. You could just have all planets of the same type in your tableau, but you don't necessarily have to. And I think, for me, The symbology was really easy, and being able to use the resources on your board was great. So that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Since I don't have the solo mode for it, I would probably rate this 7.75, just like I did with Tiny Epic Kingdoms. And that's going to be it for that. I think this is a great game. It's highly portable. It's really easy to bring to the table and explain to people. And yet another excellent addition into the Tiny Epic series. So we'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for joining me.